So I wanted to hop on and talk about my song because it's been in production for a couple of months now. I wrote a rap. I really love like hip hop, not the roots of hip hop, but rhyming on a beat. And I grew up with Lauryn Hill as probably my number one inspiration, listening to the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill as a kid. And so like so many influences in my life, and in light of what I've been going through with the betrayal of my husband's betrayal, have come together in this piece of music. And I wrote it a couple weeks after I landed back in the US, after my husband was supposed to come with us to rebuild our life, and he just kind of fizzled out and bailed. And he went back to the affair for not the second time, but the third time. So at this point, like, I had operated out of compassion and forgiveness, but this time God was allowing me to be angry. And it's not a great feeling to be angry, but it was like, I felt like it was right to be angry. Like I was in a safe place. It was proper because I should be feeling the injustice of it. God allowed me to initially, when everything happened, approach my husband with like understanding that he's a broken person and, you know, he's quite wounded, and to extend the love of Jesus and all this. But now it's like the context had changed, you know, 6 months later or so, after we had been working through reconciliation, and there was minimal progress, and a lot of good things and bad things happened during that time. And now that he had gone back, it was like, this is very intentional. You know, this is not, there's no excuses anymore. You know, you've faced the love of God, and now you're going to face the judgment of God. So like, I punched out this song probably within a day or two. And it was after reading a book by Dr. Crystal Hollenbeck called Betrayal Trauma Anger. And she explains how what it's like to be the betrayed, like me in that situation. It's like a bull who's being kept in the dark and tortured, and then suddenly it comes out into the light, into an arena, and it's being like stabbed and attacked by a matador, and the matador is provoking the bull with the red cape, and so just the bull just sees red and just goes like in a rage. Now, I didn't have that happen, but I do know I have personal contacts of people who have had a rage reaction, which if you read her book, she'll explain. I mean, it's in the title. The subtitle is, "You're not crazy, you're angry, and you should be." And so that's like, she really describes the experience of what it's like to be the betrayed person, and validating that person. Obviously, you don't want to react sinfully or in rage. You don't, of course. But she explains with survey responses how people in my situation feel, and also how the betrayer you know, navigates and experiences what they feel and think. It's a whole complex thing, and there's definitely PTSD involved. And so in my song, it combines themes of injustice, betrayal, in the context of a bullfight, right? So I use the metaphor of a bullfight for the song, and but also scripture and religious themes, also redemption, forgiveness, release. I pack it all in. And I felt, you know, when I wrote it, it just kind of poured out quite quickly, and I didn't realize like how true the words would ring. Like, it's like after I wrote it, a couple of weeks later, I realized, like, a psychologist told me, like, no, your husband definitely has some narcissism. I mean, he said he's a narcissist, but I do believe that narcissism is degrees. And so I was like, so that just made the whole thing of a matador who's the hero. He wears the mask and the suit portraying to be a hero. He's a performer. Literally, they're performers. And I had no idea that the lyrics I wrote would become more and more and more true. So that was, in that sense, it was kind of prophetic that I wrote that, which is not uncommon in my work. I tend to write prophetic poetry and this kind of thing. But at the time when I wrote it, it was just therapeutic and, you know, a way to channel everything that I wanted, that I was mulling over, chewing, like digesting, like, wrestling with. And then I got the influence from a song called La Virgen de la Macarena, which is one of the famous bullfighting songs that they play in Spain. I also had to research like bullfighting, like it's nasty. It's really bad, you guys. But so are the crimes against the animals are disgusting, and so are the crimes against betrayers when they betray their partner. And there are people in much worse, despicable circumstances, offensive, like just horrible circumstances, more than even mine. And so when I wrote the song, I was really like, I'm in several different groups, and now I'm like plugged in with other women in my situation. And so like I was actually drawing from their experiences when I wrote it too. But as time has gone on, I've realized how my husband is more and more and more of a performer because of his inability to show up as his true self. So he puts on an image. And so the Matador, I produced it like myself, like I did a demo in Ableton, because a few years ago I learned how to do basic music production skills for some other pieces of music. And so I pieced together this kind of dark, moody vibe on a reggaeton beat, because I've also got the Latin influences. So I draw from the Latin culture, Colombian culture, obviously Spanish with the Matador, and some Lin-Manuel, Lauryn Hill inspiration, because like those are the artists that I love to listen to, who inspire me. So now I've a couple of really interesting things happened. Like God opened up the door for me to perform it already. So as soon as I wrote the demo, which I was really happy with my quality of work given my limited skills, but as far as like musical arrangement, like I impressed, like I really outdid myself this time. But you know, it came from a passionate place, not just pain but purpose, because like throughout all of this I know that what God is doing in my life, and I know that I'm positioned to help other people walk through betrayal, not just be like managing the damage, right? Like God empowers us to overcome, not to just be trapped by it and then like manage the situation. That's not enough. Like no, like Satan still has the upper hand if that's what's happening. So I sent this song to Dr. Crystal Hollenbeck of the book a couple of months ago. Must have been end of December, and she was blown away. She was like, wow, like, you know, she's so honored that I did it based on her book, because you know, when you write a book, like you hope people will receive it. Well, I did more than receive it, girl. That was my total, like, she unlocked something for me there on multiple levels. And a couple months later, Chuck was here visiting his daughter, and it was just a tough couple of weeks being around him, because he's like a ghost haunting me, who's in complete denial of what's going on. And I got a call from her randomly, and she says, hey, before that, I've got the song, I'm sitting on the song, like, God, like, can I publish this? Like, can I do something with it? Because it's like really good. And it's also like calling out evil, what is evil, but also like releasing the person, whoever hears it or sings it, to forgive that person for the evil that they've caused. And so I was praying, and I was like, you know, can I get someone, I really want someone to help me produce this like radio ready. And I felt the word Atlanta. I reached out to my local pastor here in Savannah, because they know the song. I'd performed it for them. We talked about it. I was like, hey, do you happen to know anyone in Atlanta? I felt that I'm just going to check it out. As soon as and I even took a screenshot, as soon as I'm emailing my pastor, I get a missed call from Atlanta. Not a missed call. I get a scam likely. I got a scam call from Atlanta. So obviously I don't answer it. Maybe I should have. Nah. So, and I was like, okay, so there's something about Atlanta. So then a couple weeks after that, Dr. Crystal Hollenbeck calls me and says, hey, I have a conference for my peers about sexual integrity conference for psychologists, people like her who minister to people like me in Atlanta. Will you come perform your song? And I'm like, yes. So I was so excited because, like, for me, that was a confirmation that God was providing this next step for something good and powerful to come out of something so tragic. Yay. So that's supposed to be in April, May. I've submitted the content and I wait to hear back if they are going to, like, approve me to share, which as far as I know, there's no reason they wouldn't. But anyway, I do intend to go up there and do that. So in the meantime, since January, between January and now, I have been producing the song with someone on Fiverr. I found a great, incredible producer, music, audio engineer, These people are chef's kiss, amazing people. And that has its own testimony, and I'm going to be sharing all of those details in a full video where I dissect the song completely. But y'all, the creative process is very interesting. Writing music when I'm inspired by God and what he's doing in my life, like creating things and speaking things and even trying to do like prophetic improv and stuff like that, which I'm experimenting with, like, that is so fulfilling. And I'm really excited to see what God does with my work. I definitely had to pray and just like step back from the song to make sure like God, confirm, give me peace if this is your will to move forward with it. Like confirm that you want me to release this music that I've written, because it's not for the faint of heart. It's not for the religious spirit. Like, religious spirit is not gonna love this. And it tackles uncomfortable reality of this weird nexus of being a Christian that has faced injustice. I've met so many women who've gone through what I've gone through and suffered silently. They haven't told almost anyone. People, like, they're like, even their close community, who's ideally you walk with those people, like, those people don't know. It's a lot of women suffer silently, and when you do that, like, if I were never to speak about what I went through, because you don't want to be misunderstood, you don't want to be misconstrued, you don't want to offend anyone, but, like, excuse me, the point is not to tear down the person. Like, if the point is to tear down the person, then yeah, like, don't speak out loud publicly, like ministering. But, like, we need to see examples of people who have journeyed with Jesus in impossible circumstances. And this song does that. And so, yeah, it's called Matador, and I'm still going to be praying about it. I'm still going to be asking God, like, how, like, he told me to pray over the airwaves. I've been praying over the airwaves. And, like, as far as how he's going to, like, my heart is like, deliver people, heal people from the ways that the enemy has trapped them in the trauma, in just the confusion of being like, you don't know who you're talking to or who you're dealing with, and it's the person you're closest to that you've trusted your whole life. Like, it is a very disarming, destabilizing experience. And this song talks about how you willingly sacrifice yourself for that person, because when you're in a marriage, that's what you sign up for. That's what you sign up for. yeah, it sucks. It's a painful reality. It's, I've felt reduced to nothing. And that's why Jesus is building me up. One brick by one brick, rebuilding me. Because most of myself has died at this point. And that's a good thing. It's like, I'm so grateful that demonized man pushed me into the arms of Jesus, you guys. That's the uncomfortable truth. I've learned a lot. I've learned about soul parts. I've learned why someone like him, and how even myself, we can show up as different parts of ourselves, because we're fractured and fragmented, and how God can meet that soul part and reintegrate it, and how free will works when the other person decides, nah, I'm good, I don't need God, I don't need you guys in my life, I'm gonna go do what I want. So that's another painful reality, and that's where the anger came in. Like, anger lets you know that you need to protect yourself, and that's the season that I was in, and that's what I did. That's what I allowed God to do. And we are on a journey of more and more and more revelation, more grace, more forgiveness, releasing, becoming, dying, resurrecting. It's all happening. And I'm excited to share the song with you guys soon. See ya.